So you came over and you said that David Duke hated Corbyn,
Well,
and then did a U-turn.
well,
No, he did a U-turn and then told everyone to vote for Jeremy Corbyn. Why do you think? You said I'm intellectually dishonest, so I'm asking you a straight question. Why do you think he did a U-turn?
I would say that the main reason for that would be the enormous anti-Semitism row.
So why would an anti-Semite,
David Duke.
tell people to vote for Jeremy Corbyn? Like, yes, you said there's lots of anti-Semitism. Like you said, there's an anti-Semitism row. Why would an anti-Semite tell other anti-Semites to vote for Labour?
It seems to me it's quite obvious, right? David Duke and the entire right-wing American cabal, basically, of extreme right-wingers, have a very fixed belief about the destiny of the world, that it's ruled by a new world order, right, of which the Jews are central parts, yes? And they believe that anything that can change that, it's going to shift that a bit, is good.
Okay, thank you. Stop. So exactly, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And so why do they
believe
think that Jeremy Corbyn may change something?
All of the things the anti-Semitism scare has said. They believe that Jeremy Corbyn is somebody who's going to try and unsettle this Jewish New World Order.
Yeah.
They believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you believe it.
Yeah, I do. Not until the New World Order, but I think Jeremy Corbyn is against the Jews. Yeah. I think the British Jewish community is terrified. The overwhelming majority of us are absolutely terrified. They're the Holocaust survivors who I pray with every Saturday, or not every Saturday, but regularly, who are terrified. Now, why would elderly people who've been through the camps, who are too elderly to even leave the building they live in, that's why we go to them to pray, why would they be so afraid of Jeremy Corbyn? What have they lived through?
Well, I would say I'm not surprised at all that they're terrified, because every Jewish newspaper is absolutely stoking the fires, that there's a crisis, an existential
Why would the Jewish
crisis.
newspapers stoke the fires?
Well, I would say that the main reason for that is that Jeremy Corbyn has been a lifelong campaigner for the Palestinian rights, and in some people's view, his position, political position, is tantamount to anti-Semitism.
So you're saying the Jewish
before
newspaper...
he was leader of the Labour Party, I would say that a great many, probably many of the editors of those main Jewish newspapers, maybe other prominent members of prominent Jewish communities, would look at what Jeremy Corbyn and the connected associated groups like Stop the War and all of the things that he's been a part of, would look at their actions and say that they were anti-Semitic.
So
and
you're
that they were
saying
led by a hatred of Jews.
So the leaders of the Jewish newspapers and the Jewish communal bodies believe that Jeremy Corbyn is anti-Semitic and has a hatred of Jews.
I would say that they seem to have presented that.
And you don't think it's got anything to do with Jeremy Corbyn endorsing anti-Semitic murals, giving money to Holocaust deniers, defending people who say the Jews did 9/11. There's like just numerous examples of anti-Semitism or anti-Semitic incidents that Jeremy Corbyn's been involved in. Yeah. So you're saying they haven't. It's not that they're just worried that he supports Palestine.
Would you say that prior to the anti-Semitism scandal that's come up, and all of these things that you've mentioned there, that they had no feelings of hostility towards the Stop the War coalition or the Free Palestine movement?
Absolutely. The Jewish communal body, the Board of Deputies, the Jewish Leadership Council, the Chief Rabbi and the Chief Rabbi's office, the 68 rabbis that came out in support of the statement that the Chief Rabbi put out, the numerous Jewish organisations and individuals, yes, absolutely. They did not harbour ill feeling to Stop the War coalition or to Jeremy Corbyn. People like me, yes, maybe, because I believe Stop the War coalition is incredibly hostile to the world's only Jewish country. But to accuse the Jewish communal bodies of that is very far-fetched, because you don't understand the diversity of British Jewry. Because we have people who are pro-Palestinian in those organisations.
Well, I know about the diversity of British Jewry. I mean, from my own personal experience, I know a wide variety of Jewish people who have views upon all along the spectrum. when it
Okay,
comes
so
to
fine. So fine. So for
Israel
you
and
to suggest that
Palestine.
the leaders of the Jewish communal organisations have a bias is dangerous territory. And I would go one further. I would go one further.
I would say that is true. It is dangerous territory for me to say that of the bodies, but I wouldn't say it was so when you looked at the print publications, because they became quite clear.
Can I just say something? You've got councillors like Alan Bull saying that the Holocaust never happened. You've got other councillors. No, just stop. No. There's literally over 50 incidents of prominent Labour members engaging in anti-Semitic activity, yeah? And what you've done, you've looked at all of this body and said, actually, it's just these Jewish leaders being a little bit nervous. It's actually the Jewish leaders who are at fault. They actually don't like Jeremy Corbyn because he doesn't like Israel. And I'm going to flip this round now. Imagine it was Muslims, or imagine it was black people. No. Hear me out. Imagine if a Muslim was saying, I'm terrified that the Conservative Party, there are members in there who are flaming the fuel, stoking the fires of Islamophobia, and that makes me nervous.
Senior member of the Conservative Party.
Perfect. Look at the difference of your response. When it comes from the Conservatives,
well, stop. I haven't put a view about Saidi Warsi's statement.
You literally just said there are senior members of the Conservative Party that are stoking those flames. And what I'm trying to say there is, when it comes to Islamophobia, there's a double standard. When it's the Jews, because it's your leader. No, not at all.
I think you're reaching.
So I'm pointing out the double. I don't. I'm pointing out the double standards.
Okay, you're using an example.
Your response.
You're arguing with someone else that you think I am.
When it came to the Jews, you found every excuse to blame the communal bodies rather than Jeremy Corbyn's party.
When
it came to Islamophobia, it's
really,
yes. Okay, this is what people like you do.
No,
when you're faced with logic, you flip it around and say, you're putting words in my mouth.
Now you're using...
I mean, it's all on camera. Anyone watching this will know that I've put no words in your mouth.
Anyone can see that the conversation is devolving.
Okay, fine. They can be the judge of that.
Yeah, of course they will. But I can see that you're very, very rooted and aggressive.
Afraid. I'm very, very afraid. Not of you, of Labour. Not of you. I'm not afraid of you, no.
That is that to me is a real, real shame. And I believe you. And I believe that there are people who are genuinely afraid. I believe that, but I feel it's false, from my opinion, from my experience.
But what experience of anti-Semitism do you have? You're not Jewish. I assume you're not Jewish.
I'm not Jewish.
So for you to say, from my experience, is irrelevant. If a black person is experiencing racism in this country, it's not your person as a white man to say, actually, I don't say anything, so you must be making it up.
If a black man approaches me and says to me, you're racist, I think you're racist.
I've never said you're racist.
I'm not saying you are. I'm using the example.
So, bear in mind, Jews and Muslims share the same right-wing anti-Semitic government.
We share a lot. We share far more positives than we have negatives. We share virtually the same religion.
I mean, my greatest fear, right, from considering the Jewish friends that I have, and the feelings that they've gone through here, which have been very painful for them and humiliating, the whole situation, from whichever point of view that they take it from. But my biggest fear, really, is the path on which Israel is going and pulling a huge number of the Jewish community with it. They've now allied themselves with the far right.
What are they ashamed of?
Sorry, who's that allied themselves with the far right?
The Israeli state.
Israel, American Jews, listen, American Jews overwhelmingly vote Democrat.
Absolutely, that's true. Yes.
So,
I'm not talking about the American Jewish community. Quite the opposite. No, the American Jewish community is a very different thing. Like you say, they're mostly Democrats, and a great deal of them are deeply hurt by the actions of Israel and the actions of Netanyahu.
Well, how many?
I can't give you a number of how many.
Well, how can you say that?
Well, just from the opinions of Jews that have an experience of that.
So which Jews?
A handful of American Jewish intellectuals who perhaps are connected to the Jewish community.
Are you talking about pro-Palestinian activists from America that happen to be Jewish, if not now?
I don't know. I mean, I'm happy to accept that that's not the case.
Okay,
I'm happy to say that it's the opposite way. That's fine. But what is definitely, without a doubt, is that the Israeli state, the Likud party, and Netanyahu have allied themselves deeply with the far right in America. And I think that's a terrible
which far right in America?
Donald Trump, the evangelical community.
So which Israelis have allied themselves with the evangelical right in America?
Well, a great many.
So could you name some individuals or organisations?
All I can say is that it's commonly known that many Christian Americans come to Israel to help settlers to
How many?
build. No, even if it's a handful. If you can see it whenever you tune in to the religious
Can I
TV
be really
shows.
rude? Can I be really rude? I think you're talking nonsense.
Okay.
I
Well,
think you're literally saying things
that
and
aren't
having
true. They think
and
they're
having
false.
no substance to back them up. You said many Jews. There may be not many Jews. Maybe a handful. The American right. Is it the Israelis are teaming up with the American right. Which Israelis? You didn't have an answer. I think
Well,
you're
the
basically
Israelis
you're speaking opinions rather than facts.